Hey, what's happening out there, everybody? My name is Hayden Adams with Nautilus Designs and Training. And in this series, I want to talk about the newest feature in Instagram. I'm in Instagram right now. And if I pull open the options, you get a whole bunch of different pieces. But what I want to focus on today are quizzes, the newest piece in the Instagram story portfolio that you get to use. Let's go through it. I'm going to show you how to set it up and different options you can use to further engage your audience with Instagram quizzes. Let's get started. So let's take a look at a quiz that I set up yesterday. Now I saved it into my Instagram story area where I can actually access it later on after my stories go away. So I have a wine quiz option right here, and if I click on the wine quiz, it shows me. If I hold my finger down on my phone, it won't move anywhere. But basically, I took the quiz and it says, what's the most widely planted grape in Sonoma County? Now, it shows me the answer. It's not Pinot Noir, it's not Cabernet Sauvignon, it is Chardonnay, and it is Merlot. Let's look at the results on what people guessed. If I say seen, let me go back to that page for the wine quiz. Clicking down on the bottom left, it says seen by 13. Now looking at the results, one person guessed Pinot Noir, one person guessed Cabernet Sauvignon, one person got it right, and nobody guessed Merlot. Because let's face it, Merlot, while we love that grape, it just never gets any love. So the answers down below can be seen. The Wine Road answered Chardonnay was correct. Vinhas answered Pinot Noir, and Obsidian Link answered Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, I could message them as well if I wanted to, but basically, it just shows what people have guessed in the interaction of it. What I can also look at is I can click on the interactions that came with this story. So one person replied, but I also got 18 impressions. No new followers from this, but 14. One person clicked back, 8 people clicked forward, 3 people next story, and 2 people exited. So I can see, did the quiz get interactions? And the answer is yes. 3 people interacted with my quiz. So what happens with all these stories is you want to create interaction. That's the whole idea of Instagram stories and these different interactive elements. And it's a fun way. So I created a wine quiz. So let's go through step by step and let's look at how I created this quiz or any kind of Instagram quiz from start to finish. All right, let's go ahead and create an Instagram story so then we can create an Instagram story quiz. I'm going to swipe to the left. Where's that swipe to the right? I never quite know. Anyways, I got to my story, and for this demonstration purpose, I am going to use type. Now you can use live, well, you can't use live, but you can use everything else pretty much to have a boomerang and then have a quiz on top of a boomerang. I wouldn't do it that way, but at least you can have a picture behind it as well. In this instance, I'm just going to say pop quiz and put it towards the top. So we'll put it right up here, telling everybody there's going to be a pop quiz. So after that, what I'm going to do is hit this little arrow, and it comes up to this main page you're probably familiar with if you've created an Instagram story in the past. I'm going to tap, nope, not that button. I'm going to tap the little happy face. That's more of a rounded rectangle, not the circular happy face. And up pops all my options that I can put in my Instagram story. And here is the quiz. I'm going to tap the quiz, and up pops the quiz. So guess my favorite. I have to now think of a quiz title. The next step I have to do is figure out what I want for a quiz title. So I'm going to say, in which state would you find Lake Chelan, CHELANAVA? So the question I have once again is this is for wine people, and AVA stands for American Viticultural Area. And I'm asking the question, in which state would you find Lake Chelan AVA? So after the title, I'm then going to put options. I'm going to say Washington State, not DC. In fact, let me capitalize state just because why not? I'm then going to choose an option for option 2. I'm going to say California. I'm then going to add a third and say Oregon. And I'm going to say a fun one, let's say Florida, just to see what happens. So this is how I enter in all the information. If I tap on it, I then can move it down on the page and create my quiz. In which state would you find Lake Chelan AVA? Let's go back after this and make sure we set the correct answer before we publish. I have the quiz set up, but I want to make sure that I have the right answer selected. If I tap on the quiz again, by default it came up with the second answer, which is correct. Now, if you are a wino, you realize that is not the correct answer, but Lake Chelan AVA is in Washington State. So make sure when you create your quiz that you do tap on the right answer. Once again, you can see this, but your own people cannot. So this is also how you can create the right answer by tapping on the answer. And if I say done, it goes back to the middle of the screen, and now my quiz is all set up to go. Now, if you also want to change the color of the top, you can also click this little area and it's now a little more colorful. It's a little more colorful, a little more colorful, and eventually you get back to your color that you want. Ooh, I like that color. It's kind of like salmon, almost rosé color. I'm going to keep that one. So now I have my quiz ready to go. So once again, pop quiz, I set the quiz. In which state would you find Lake Chelan AVA? I selected my correct answer, which is Washington State, and I'm now ready to share this with the world. So I ultimately decided to go back to the black and white and change the background a little bit. I went a little more of a rosé white wine color, and I also tagged the Lake Chelan Wine Valley because this quiz, well, is about Lake Chelan area. I was careful not to tag any particular state because I don't want it to be any clues on the quiz. When I'm all set, I can say send to, and I'm going to say your story. And when I say that, it's going to wait for a few seconds. The undo button is going to change to the word shared, and I can also share it to my Beyond Napa Valley Facebook page. Oh, I have to sign in. I'll do it later on. But in this case, I can at least share it to my story. And if I share it to my story, and now if I click on my story up on the top left, up comes the pop quiz for in which state would you find Lake Chelan AVA. And that's how to create an Instagram story quiz on Instagram. The last thing I want to do is add this pop quiz, this quiz right here, to my highlights so it lives forever in my Instagram. What I'm going to do is I'm holding my finger down right now so that way that it doesn't move from the screen you're looking at, but I'm going to click on the word highlight down on the bottom right, and that'll pop up the option to add to which of the highlights. I'm going to click on wine quiz, and I added the pop quiz to the wine quiz. So now if I go out of this, if I scroll down on my phone and I click on my page and I click on the word wine quiz, which is right here. Nope, I'm not going to click and hold. If I tap on it, this was the first wine quiz, and my second wine quiz is right here, and this is still in action. So don't forget your quizzes. It's always fun to have an actual highlight section to look back and see what the answers were across the board for yourself as you go forward. And this is once again a talk all about quizzes in Instagram stories.